Well, there she is, it's Silvia Acevedo.
Hey, girl.
Hi, what's up? She was a reporter here at Channel 4. A lot of people remember her. For many years, she was here with us. Well, her first book was so successful that now her readers are demanding more.
More!
After the break, we're going to chat about this misadventures of her characters in her second book. We'll be right back.
And welcome back. Well, we used to only think of Cupid around Valentine's Day, but now he's getting attention year-round.
Yeah, that's because he's the main character in this book, God-Awful Thief, where mythology rules. Silvia Acevedo is the author of the second book in her God-Awful series. She is here. The first book was God-Awful Loser. Love that title. My dad read it. He loved it. I told you that during the commercial break, which is great because it is a young adult novel. That's how you first saw it. That's maybe your main target, but it seems like everybody's loving it.
Yeah, well, it's called young adult because we need to know where to place it in the bookshelves and the bookstores, but actually a lot of adults love it, and they say that it's because the characters, although they are grown-ups, they're very juvenile, they're very childlike, and so the teenagers love that as adults they can get into more trouble, and the adults love that you know, that they get into hijinks because of their kind of not very mature attitude, shall we say.
I like that.
I love it. I remember when we were talking to you about your first book and the fact that you kind of went to your children to get sort of some take on whether they thought it was good, if they'd want to read it, if they liked the story, and they loved it. And it really has been a huge hit with people, a big success. What's made you pick mythology, though? I remember being in high school and loving mythology, and I wonder if it stems back that far for you or where your love of mythology comes from.
Same place. It started in junior high and high school. We were forced to study it. And I say forced, and I'm glad that we were forced to read it. You know, mythology, I think of it as the old-time stories that people told to explain how things came to be. So it explained why spiders weave webs and why the stars in the sky seem to take shape.
Yeah, you think of the cosmos and Zeus and, you know.
Right, but it's especially taught us about human nature because the gods are they're not at all godly. They're not what we want to think of as deities. They act, they simply are concentrated passions. So like the god of theater would just love drama so much he would get into all sorts of trouble with wanting drama, you know, instead of wanting a calm life like most people might want. So it just created a lot of really fun characters that were able to get into a lot of trouble because they're so single-minded.
Speaking of your characters, is there any character in your book that you'd most like to date?
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah, it would be Bacchus, the god of wine and theater and drama. Not that, you know, drama,
You're into drama?
I'm not sure that I'm really into drama in my life, but he's well educated and he would love entertainment and he'd take you out for a good time. Now, would I want to marry him? No. There would be far too much drama in my life, but for a date to go out on the town, sure.
It's cute.
When you write about mythology and these characters that are very single-minded, are you inserting some of your own values to help them through the storyline, or how do you choose, you know, the moral or the theme?
I think that we all writers bring into their stories their experiences, but it wouldn't be necessarily right to say that we insert our own values, because I certainly wouldn't insert, you know, yay wine for every situation. But you certainly insert your own ideas. And as far as theme goes, I found that actually the readers have a lot of baggage or a lot of experience, and so they will pull out the things that speak to them, and then they'll think that that's the theme of the book.
Yeah.
So I've had a lot of different people say, "Oh, I love that your book was about this or was about that," and I'm like, "Oh, really? That's what you thought it was?"
You're wrong. Is it important to you that at least one character in your book is relatable or does have some of your values?
Absolutely, because if you don't have a relatable character, I mean, you end up reading it to the end and saying, well, who cares? But all of the characters have some redeeming quality, something that you like about them, something that's interesting, something that speaks to your own heart. And then they all have their mistakes that they make, their which, you know, let's face it, we all have our little insecurities or our little things that we wish that maybe we would act a certain way at a certain time. And if the character acts the way you'd love to act, then you're like, yeah, that's who I want to be.
Yeah. So just real quick, because we're out of time, but Cupid gets into trouble in this book.
Absolutely. He ends up having to steal a relic from a god with whom he has bad blood. And so, yeah, he's having to face a really scary big challenge here. But it's a comedy, so there's fun stuff in there.
Speaking of the funny part, I just have to read this one really short quote on the back. This one says, "This book sucks. This is from Pluto, God of the Underworld. That's their first book, God Awful Loser. And the second one, now you had to include another funny quote. So from Mercury, God of Commerce, it says, there's no way this book ever makes any money.
Zero, he says.
Love it. You're hilarious.
I hope he's wrong.
Yeah. And people have an opportunity to meet you because you're launching May 4th. So that is this coming Wednesday. You're at Boswell Book Company and Downer. You can find out more about God Awful Thief, SilviaAcevedo.com. And Sylvia was nice enough, my dad's probably calling right now, to give away, oh, this one he's read, not God Awful Thief.
Right,
this is the first one. You got to read the first one because it'd be a fun thief. This is God Awful Loser. Callers 5, 6, and 7. If you call us at 414-799-44.
Are you working on a third one?
Yes, I am. I don't have the name for it yet, but I'm working on it.
God Awful something.
Good to see you.
Love it. Thanks, Sylvia.